This is part 2 of We Spread by Ian Reed.
That night, Penny couldn't get to sleep because she heard somebody fighting in the next apartment over. This loud shouting from a man and a woman, which she thought was pretty weird because that apartment next door had been vacant for months. Nobody lived there. So who was it? The woman's voice in the other apartment whispered, "How long? How long? Should we tell her?" And the man's voice, gruff, deep, answered back, "Not now. Shh. I think she can hear us." And then it went quiet. Penny was freaked out, of course. She's like, I'm gonna have to ask the landlord about that tomorrow. Maybe there's squatters next door. Who are they talking about? So Penny's late husband/life partner was an artist, as we know, but Penny was also a creative mind as well. She wrote lots of novels that she never published, and she did a lot of painting. She was a very artistically inclined painter. So the rest of the day, she spent wandering around her apartment and flipping through all of her old paintings that never went up on the walls anywhere. She admired each of the paintings as if she just created them, but it heavily describes in her old age feeling like all of these memories were not hers. She misses having the bursts of creativity like she used to have when she was younger, but she doesn't get that much anymore. This realization and thought makes her very sad, and it upsetted her thinking too hard about aging and losing the ability of being young. So she's put away all the paintings and went on with her day. Occasionally, Penny will have these sudden coughing fits that will cause her to spasm and cry. And that night, she had one which was particularly really rough on her. She coughed and coughed and coughed, and she couldn't stop. But that empty apartment next to hers, there was a knock coming from the other side of the room. Were they telling her to be quiet? Were these squatters, these strange people, telling her to be quiet? Do they know that she can hear them? Penny tried to distract her from these thoughts of the strange people on the other side of these walls with a honeybee documentary. She finds enjoyment with learning something new every day. But she was struck with the sudden urge of needing to write down any information she learned about these honeybees, afraid that she was going to lose these memories just like she's lost the rest of her memories throughout her life because of her old age. Anything that stood out and was notable to her in this documentary, she jotted down, priding herself in each written word and knowing that she's going to look back and read it again and remember these special facts about honeybees. The next day was described as a very anxious type of day for Penny. She started her day off just fine, but she peeked outside the window and noticed some still figure of a person standing across the street that looked like it was staring exactly back at her. She peered out at this unmoving person for a bit, but then she got real nervous and scared, and she quickly shut all the blinds and hid from view, fearing that this person was watching her. Immediately after she hid, there was a knock at the door. It was an electrician. The landlord had an electrician come around to each of the apartments to check for outlet deficiencies. Defects. The word I'm looking for is defects. Much like my own grandmother, Penny was very territorial about her space, and they get very suspicious. If something in their routine changes, they get very suspicious. And this is what Penny was dealing with. Suspicion. The weird coincidence of the electrician popping up out of nowhere, wondering why he was there, because the landlord never mentioned it to her that they were having a repairman come around and check the outlets. Penny started questioning this electrician, and he looked like he did not get paid enough to deal with this bullshit. He was there to do a job, but Penny was like, "Were you the man standing across the street staring at me?" And the electrician's like, "Ma'am, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm here to check your outlets real quick." So she hovered over him in the vicinity where he was working at all times. She was very territorial of her sanctuary, her space. Penny, girl, I get ya. The electrician tinkered with the outlets and some of the electrical appliances and the breaker box a few times before he ended up leaving, when Penny kept questioning him about little details about what are you doing with that? Why are you touching the outlets like that? What are you doing? What exactly are you looking for? What is wrong? Why are you here? The landlord never told me about this. The electrician is like, man, you have a good day. I'm done here. And then after he left, Penny realized I never asked him for any real documentation or ID to prove that he is a certified electrician to be here. Like, it could have just been a strange guy that made up a lie to come into her apartment and mess with some things. So Penny meticulously went to every single space he touched, every single outlet he tinkered with, to examine it for any noticeable tampering. Did he put cameras places? What did he do? Penny put tape over every unused outlet, fearing that there was a listening device inside. And at this moment, she goes into the kitchen to make her soup, but one of the lights overhead burns out. She climbs up on a chair, falls, and hits her head on the countertop.